What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to talk about how to do a handstand, okay? Handstands are super fun. Everybody wishes they could do a handstand. I'm going to teach you how to do one. We're going to start from step 1 all the way to step infinity and teach you how to get super dope at handstands, okay? We'll go from the very basics, the fundamentals, and then I'll show you some of the stuff that I did when I was in college and really took my handstand to the next level, you know? I can do a handstand on flat ground, on parallel bars, on rings, on sand, on whatever you imagine I can do a handstand on. And I'm gonna teach you how to get that dope at handstands. Stay tuned, we're gonna start from stuff I did at age 3, okay? Super basic, super fundamental. Let's check out step 1. So the basic of the basic of the basic to handstands is shoulder flexibility. If you can't get your arms all the way up above your head, you can't do a handstand. It's that simple, okay? So we're gonna work on a little bit of our shoulder flexibility before we actually do our handstand work. You have to be able to get those shoulders all the way open, okay? If you're stuck here, it's gonna be a lot harder to balance and it takes a lot more muscle to do a handstand. The goal to do a handstand is to be in as straight of a line as possible to balance the easiest, the best, and the most efficient without wasting energy. If you can't get to here, handstands are gonna be a lot tougher. So to increase that shoulder range of motion, we're gonna do a kind of an exercise called the cat stretch, all right? You're gonna put your hands on the ground like this and stick your butt up in the air, and the goal is to push your armpits all the way into the ground, okay? You're gonna go like this. The goal is to get those armpits in the ground. You can do one arm at a time. Oof, yeah, that feels good. That's good stuff. Switch arms. Notice I'm bouncing. I like to do dynamic stretching when stretching my shoulders, okay? Again, it's your armpits. This is what you're working, not your back. So don't do anything weird with your back. Try to stick your butt up in the air. It'll give you better leverage, but don't do anything weird with your spine. Armpits get pushed into the ground. That is the goal, okay? That will help increase the range of motion of your shoulders so you can get to that fully handstand in a perfectly straight line from your hip to your hand, okay? That's step 1, the first exercise is shoulder flexibility. Let me show you another one. Okay, the second exercise we're gonna work on for shoulder flexibility is very similar to the cat stretch on the ground, but you can really push and apply a little more force with this one, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your hands on something, a bar, the corner of a couch, the corner of your bed, a wall, anything that'll stop you, and you're gonna really just gonna push your armpits down, okay? You can work different angles by putting your hands closer together and then spreading them out too. They will all improve different aspects that require shoulder flexibility. The wider you go, the more it'll really stretch out your pecs. And yes, your pecs do affect your shoulder flexibility. If this is tight, it'll pull your shoulders in and make it harder to open them all the way up. So the wider you go, it'll stretch out your pecs and your shoulders too. And the narrower you go, it's gonna hit a little bit more of the outside up top of your deltoids, okay? So you're really stretching out up here at the top and also your lats as well. If your lats are tight, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have a hard time getting your arms all the way up, okay? So all the way together, you can do shoulder width apart, and then you can go a little bit wider to stretch out your pecs, okay? That's gonna be a good exercise. You can really apply a lot of force if you don't have to worry about jamming your face into the ground like the cat stretch earlier. You just push your armpits forward again, not your belly or your back. Your armpits need to go forward. That'll dial in your shoulder flexibility. Now we can talk about actually working on the handstand and the basic progressions to it. Let's move on. All right, check it out. Progression 1 to a handstand is called a tripod. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put your hands on the ground, slightly wider than your shoulders, all right? Next, you're gonna put your head on the ground, not right in between your hands, but a little bit forward, okay? Spread those fingers out nice and wide. And then you're gonna get your butt up in the air with your feet on the ground still, and then you're gonna put your knee on your elbow, okay? And then your other knee, okay? The goal is to balance like this. This is called a tripod, okay? Watch it from a different angle now. I'll face a little bit different, a little bit to the side, from behind now. Hands on the ground, spread those fingers out, slightly wider than shoulder width. Head down in front of your hands, butt up. Knee on the elbow, other knee on the elbow, okay? That's a tripod, ta-da! Let's check a different angle out, like this time. Hands down, hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart, head in front of your hands, butt up, knee up, other knee up. This is a tripod, okay? Woo, this is your super basic progression. Progression 1, play with that, try that. Once you can get to balance on your head and your hands with the elbows, or your knees on your elbows, then you can move on to the next progression. All right, after the tripod comes the headstand now, okay? We're gonna start working on our balance. We're gonna build it up, and eventually we're gonna have a super dope handstand. This is progression number 2 to a handstand. It's called a headstand, all right? Slightly different than the tripod, but we're gonna get into a tripod, and then we're gonna work our way up to the headstand, okay? Hands, same place as your tripod, slightly wider than your shoulders, head in front of your hands. Let's get into our tripod, and then the next step is slowly working your way up. Get your butt up, get your knees up, and then get your feet up, okay? The goal is to balance like this. This is a headstand, all right? Check it out. All right. Okay, here's a different angle of the headstand. I want to show you all the angles so you know exactly where your hands should go, where your head should go, what angle you should be balancing your headstand on. A key to the headstand is to be on not the fully top of your head, but more of like the front of your head. Some people do it even on their forehead-ish even, okay? But the key is to be on the front half to the top of your head. You don't want to be completely flat, because then you're going to be straight up and down. You don't want a headstand to be straight up and down, because then you're just going to be bouncing solely on your head. You actually want to lean slightly. These are your hands over here. You actually want to lean slightly on your hands, okay? That way your hands can balance and provide a middle ground with your head. That way you're more of a teepee. If you're straight up and down, you don't use your hands, it's going to be hard to balance, and you're relying completely on your head to keep you balanced, which if you have a lopsided and cone head shape like me, it's going to be wicked tough. Okay, watch it again directly from the side. Notice I'm not straight up and down. I'm going to be leaning slightly toward my hands this time, okay? Hands, head, feet up. Okay? Notice how I'm not completely straight up and down. I'm slightly on my hands. If I go straight up and down, see, I feel like I'm going to fall. So now, I'm going to go back to here. Slightly leaning on my hands and slightly leaning on my head. Okay? I'm right in the middle. Hands and my head, feet are right in the middle, slightly leaning toward them, okay? It's the little things you gotta pay attention to if you wanna have a dope handstand slash headstand. All right, now we get to actually move on to some handstands. I hope you've dialed in your tripod, your headstand, because now we're gonna kind of start chucking our handstands. Before you start doing this, if you feel like you're still not ready and you don't feel like you have the strength, work on some shoulder strength, okay? Push-ups are gonna develop some shoulder strength as well. You can work on some machine work if you wanna push some dumbbells over your head, shoulder press. Anything pushing over your head is going to develop that basic shoulder strength that is gonna be required to be able to do a handstand. So if you're nervous about it, strengthen those shoulders, strengthen your triceps a little bit too to help keep those arms straight. Those two muscles will definitely help your handstand, okay? But once you feel like you're good to go on the balance aspect, your tripod and your headstand, and you feel like your strength is dialed in too, the next step is just kind of hucking it, okay? So we're gonna learn on a wall, okay? Maybe if you have access to a slightly slanted wall, it's gonna be a little bit easier transition from the headstand to going into a handstand, okay? But ultimately, you just kind of have to huck it at this point. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our hands on the ground, okay? Not right next to the wall, okay? You're gonna back them up a little bit, okay? So that we can really lean against the wall. And right now we're gonna do back against the wall for our handstand, okay? So, shoulders go about shoulder width apart. Not wider, not narrower, okay? I want you exactly shoulder width apart for your handstand. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna simply kick up, all right? Boom. The goal is just to balance like this, okay? You're gonna feel a little archy, it's gonna feel a little sloppy, not perfectly right, but the goal is not to pike your shoulders. The goal is to have those shoulders opened up, so push your armpits forward and push your head forward, okay? Try that a bunch of times. Go up, hold it for as long as you can, hold it for 10, 20, 30 seconds, 1 minute, however long you can hold it. Do a bunch of sets of that. You will develop the strength and the balance required to do a handstand consistently and then move on to the next step. All right, next step of the handstand. We just did a handstand with our back against the wall. We're still on the slanted wall, by the way. We just did back against the wall. Now we're gonna do stomach against the wall, okay? So our approach and entrance into the handstand is gonna be a little different this time, all right? We're gonna start with our butt against the wall like this. You're gonna kind of have to start with the hands way out here, and you're gonna walk them toward the wall while your feet are on the wall, okay? I will demonstrate. Hands. Get those feet up, and then walk your hands closer to the wall. The goal is to get your hands as close to the wall as possible, okay? That way you can be straight up and down. Right now, don't stick your head out. I'm just sticking it out so that I can talk to you. Goal is to keep your head in, like so, okay? When doing a handstand, a perfect handstand is when your nose and your toes only touch the wall, okay? So this is bad, okay? Means your stomach is not flexing, your shoulders are bad. You want to think push tall. Push tall through your shoulders, make your body as tall as you can, and get your nose and your toes against the wall. Okay? Get down however you want, so walk your hands back out, cartwheel to the side, however you want to get down, just do it safely. But notice on that, my shoulders were all the way open, okay? Not like this, not with my head out, straight line. Nose and toes are the only thing that are touching the wall. That is very important. Don't stick your belly out, don't stick your butt out. Just push your glutes forward, tuck your stomach in, okay? You want to keep this a straight line and this, your hips, a straight line, okay? Super important to balancing a handstand. The straighter you are, the easier it's going to be to balance. That simple. All right, check it out. Next step, look at this. We're against the flat wall this time, okay? No more slanted wall, no more baby steps. We're going to a straight up and down wall. You're ready for this. You can do it. Check it out. We're gonna approach the wall the same way. We're gonna go stomach against the wall. We're gonna back our hands up into the wall and get our nose and our toes against the wall, okay? Nose and toes should be the only thing touching the wall for a perfect handstand. Remember that. Nose and toes, it rhymes. I'm like Dr. Seuss up in here. Okay, should be easy to remember. All right, let's hop into it. Okay, notice how my nose and my toes are the only thing that's touching the wall. Notice how my shoulders are all the way open and all the way straight. My hips are at a perfectly straight angle. This is the easiest way to balance a handstand. I can hold this here for minutes. Minutes on minutes on minutes, okay? Once you are straight up and down, it's gonna be so much easier to balance. If you get to here, I don't know if you guys know what a flange is, but you're almost doing a flange if your shoulders are here. Keep those shoulders all the way open. Use your shoulder flexibility in your handstand. If you don't have it, work on it. It will make your handstand significantly easier to where you will be able to balance better and also balance for longer, okay? That's the next step. You're doing a handstand straight up and down. The goal is when you're doing this, kick your feet off the wall a little bit, okay? Boom, try to balance. Boom, try to bounce without it. If you fall, freak out, get back to the wall, lean against it. Slowly lean off of it again, fall back. Slowly lean off it again, and back. Work on that balance, okay? If you can do little hops, little bounces off the wall for like 30 seconds to a minute, that's the best way to get stronger, okay? All right, the next progression is gonna be very similar to what we just did. We were doing nose and toes against the wall with pointed toes, right? Now we're gonna do flex toes, okay? We're gonna do flex toes, that's one adjustment. And two, we're gonna move our hands a little bit further away from the wall. Our hands before were about 3 to 4 inches from the wall. Now we're gonna bump them out to maybe potentially 8 inches to 12 inches away from the wall now, okay? This will give us a little more freedom. We're gonna do our same little bounces off the wall, but we're gonna be able to bounce a little bit more so we can have a little bit more fluctuation and opportunity to balance in the actual handstand, okay? Let me demonstrate for you. Hands a little bit further away from the wall, feet flexed. I'm in a good handstand now, and jump off the wall, and fall back to the wall, and jump off the wall, and fall back to the wall, and off the wall, and back to the wall, okay? Do this a bunch of times. Do this a bunch of times until you can balance that handstand. Try to fall this way instead of that way right now, okay? That's what we're gonna work on. All right, chickadee, check this out. Look at this, we're not against any more walls. We're just on flat ground, okay? Now I'm gonna teach you how to get into a handstand properly, like a gymnast, so to say, okay? We're gonna start from what's called a lunge, okay? You don't have to get into it like this. This is just how I learned and how the gymnastics world gets into a handstand, okay? One foot in front of the other. We call this a lunge. Arms up, and then you're simply, look at how my feet are apart, and then you're simply gonna put your hands on the ground. Leave those hands up to your ears. Don't drop them here. You're already setting yourself up for failure. Remember, our handstand is up here. So you're gonna leave your hands up there, and you're gonna do this, okay? We call that a lever. Actually, that was terrible. I almost fell over. We call that a lever in gymnastics. When you go down to this, that, and then come back up. That ensures that your arms stay all the way up. We don't want to see this. Terrible. Leave those arms all the way up. Lever down, one body flat at a time. And then now, we're promised we're going to go handstand this time. And then... ta-da, there's an actual handstand. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you, that like super hurt my wrist. Actually, I broke my wrist back in high school, had 2 surgeries on it, and that's actually as far as I can bend my wrist back. So doing handstands flat on the ground actually sucks for me. What I like to do is do handstands on some parallettes. That way I don't have to bend my wrist back as far. Good right wrist, trash left wrist. So let's check out a handstand on the parallettes, which is where I can actually thrive and do good handstands on. Check this out. Ugh, absolute fail. Here we go, round 2. That's an actual handstand, okay? Less pressure on my wrists, a lot easier for those of you that have bad wrists out there, okay? Honestly, the key to a handstand is wrist strength, all right? When doing a handstand flat on the ground, I want you guys to think, spread your fingers out and really dig those hands into the ground. Ultimately, the key to a handstand is staying tight in your core and your butt. This is the middle of your body. This is where needs to be the most tight, okay? If your butt's wobbly, if your belly's wobbly, the rest of your body's gonna turn into a fishtail and you're gonna swing all over the place. If you can keep everything tight, all you'll need to use is your wrists if you're on parallettes. All you'll need to use is your wrists to balance, okay? That simple. And if you're on flat ground, spread those fingers out, bend your hands a little bit, dig your fingers in the ground. All you'll need to use is your wrists to balance. Keep your body tight. Everything from your core to your butt to your quads, your knees, your calves, your legs, squeeze them tight together, keep them in one straight line, and this or this is all you'll need to balance a handstand. It's that simple, okay? Tighter you are, more straight line, that is the key to doing a handstand and being able to hold it for a long time. Go give it a try. You've learned everything you need to know. Yo, 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 check this out. Now we're gonna work on some things that are beyond just a regular swing handstand, okay? If you ever come across some parallel bars, whether it's on a playground, or at Muscle Beach, or in your backyard, I don't know, wherever, you find a couple tree stumps that line up, you can try some of these. These are called swing handstands, okay? Boom, boom, and down, and up, and down, and up, and down. Okay, try to walk too. Give it a try. You can try anything. Try walking forwards, backwards, up some steps, down some steps. Do whatever. Try doing a handstand on 1 bar, 2 bars, same hands on the same bar. You can get crazy with handstands. Try it, build it up. This is your boy, Flipped Fitness. Let me know how it goes. If you have any other questions, go out there, learn a handstand, try it, get flipped. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.